Hello everyone and happy Tuesday. Welcome to my channel, Creative Grandma. My name is Glenda and I'm all about crochet, anything and everything crochet related. Well, this video I wanted to talk about how do you keep track of your yarn stash. Now someone sent me a link to a yarn logbook. Now, I showed some logbooks from Amazon about projects, keeping track of the yarn and everything you're making for a project. But what if you wanted to inventory your yarn stash? Now, a couple of times I remember that I didn't think I had a certain yarn and I ordered it in. And one in particular yarn, I ordered it like 3 different times when I already had it. And I thought, when I seen the email from my subscriber showing this yarn inventory book, I thought that's a great idea. So I'm going to check it out. Now, the one thing that got me so frustrated on Amazon was when I looked at these books, they would show the cover, but they won't show you what's inside. So I didn't know if the books were the same, if they were different inside, what they were like to try to inventory your yarn stash. And I thought that's what today's video is going to be about. What do the inside of these books look like when you get on Amazon and you want to see if this is what you need for trying to figure out your yarn stash? So I have 3 different books. Now this one I liked because it did show on the cover certain things that's in the book, so that was nice. But the other 2 showed nothing, and all 3 of these books are completely different inside. So my one pet peeve is when Amazon or whoever posts these, it would really be nice if you opened the book and showed people what the actual pages look like, because we all have different needs. Now, before I start showing you inside the book, I did want to show you a couple other things that I did order from Amazon. I've been thinking about trying to make a doily. I do have trouble with my eyes, but I just redone my kitchen and I thought I'd like to make some little doilies for under my little plants that I have. And I thought I'm going to pick up a new set of the steel crochet hooks. Very inexpensive. I can't remember exactly what I paid for these. I think they were like $10, somewhere in that ballpark. But they're the Susan Bates steel crochet hooks for making doilies. You get 6 different sizes. Now mine are really old. My crochet hooks I got from my gram. They're probably over 100 years old, and after a while they may get pitted, a little bit of brown rusty stuff on them. So I picked up new ones. So if you're someone who just wants to replace some of those steel hooks, or you just want to have a steel hook, so if you need them, you have a new set. I also showed on a previous video some Scentsy macrame cord that I bought for making a purse. I liked it so much. I tested 2 different ones. The one I definitely did not like, but this one I like. It's called the Scentsy macrame PP cord 1.5 millimeter. I liked it so much, I went back in and I ordered other colors and I forgot to order the blue. So I was mad at myself. I placed the second order so I could order the blue, and I ordered every color but the blue. It's like, where was my mind? The more you order, the more you save. So I ordered the 5 packs. So this is the first color. I'm not sure if there's a color name on here. This is color number 30. It's like a light tan. And then I thought, well, I'm going to get the darker brown to go with the tan, maybe make a 2-tone purse. I'm not seeing the color number on this one, but if you see the brown and the tan together, I think that would be pretty. Like make the bottom with the dark brown, the center with the tan, and then bring that dark brown up to the top with the strap. And then you know I like pink. So I had to order the pink. Let me see if I can find the color number on this pink. They only have 1 pink color in this, so you can find it. I'll put links. They just don't have it where I can see it on the label. So this is the pink. And then I had to order the purple. I thought it would be fun to make some purses in the colors. This stuff was so wonderful to work with. If you didn't see my previous video, so if you didn't watch my previous video about this, go ahead and check that out, because the one was real thick and waxy and stiff, and this was just perfect. It was more like yarn. It was very workable, silky. I absolutely loved it. So now let's talk about these 3 different yarn stash books. Now these are completely different. Like if I wanted to inventory my yarn wall, this is what I would do in order to know what brand, how many I have, and what color number. Now, I think the smaller books were like $8, maybe $8 or less. And I think this big book, this one was the most expensive. I think this was either $13 or $16. And again, I'll put links and you can check out all those prices. But let's start with the first one. I ordered this one because, of course, I loved the cover. I thought this was absolutely gorgeous. I love flowers. I love anything Victorian. And this says Yarn Stash Collection Inventory. And then on the back, it says, Love My Yarn Stash. So it gives you a place to put your name of who this book belongs to. It has a section on knitting abbreviations, so I thought that was nice, little extra information in there. Knitting needle sizes and crochet abbreviations, so more information. And then it has more crochet abbreviations for what the symbols mean. Inches, metric, and bead size chart. So even more information you could use when you're making a project. And then we get into the part where you can put your yarn inventory. So I'm going to read it to you first and then show it to you. It says brand, purchased from, so you can write down which store you bought it at, the color, the dye lot, the weight of the yarn, the length, how many yards are in it, the fiber, the ply, skeins, balls in your stash, so you would count how many of the color you want, put it in your book, how many you used, projects used for, and then a sample. So they have a place that you can like tape or glue that yarn in there so you can see it. So this is what all the pages are going to look like. So it's kind of like having a yarn card where you can buy those cards with the little pieces of yarn and see the different colors. I think that's nice that you could put a sample in there. And especially if you're trying to match something that has been discontinued, you could take your inventory book with you and try to match that color to a different yarn. So again, all the pages are the same throughout the book, front and back. So a lot of room to keep track of your yarn stash inventory. And I believe there was like 120 pages. Now, don't quote me on that. Most of them said 120 pages. But I thought this was really nice. I really liked this. I thought this one was worth the money. The next book is a larger book. So let's compare the 2 sizes. This is a lot bigger. This is more condensed. This says Yarn Inventory. And then the back is just plain. Now this book, I think it all depends on what your needs are. I like the first book better than this book, but at least this video you can see what each book is about, because again, we all have our own basic needs. So this book is all the same throughout. There's no additional notes or anything. There is some pages with dotted lines in the back, but every page is the same throughout. It's going to have the name, the fiber, the weight, length, color, dye lot, from the date that you purchased, the price, the needle hook size recommended for that yarn, care instructions, and notes. Now you could probably put a sample of that yarn in the notes section, but this is what the book looks like throughout the entire book, every page. So for what I need, I like the first book better. So it's all in what you want. And I believe this book was around $8 as well. Now the third book has a lot of space for a lot of information. And sometimes when you try to go back 3, 4, 5 years ago when you made something and get all that specific information, because yarns are discontinued so much, that when you try to find an alternative yarn to match the weight, the size, the length of yarn in the skein, and try to match that color, sometimes you need more information. So this is called the Yarn Stash Journal. This is what it looks like. You can see a lot more spaces for a lot more information. The back is just plain. Now it has in case of emergency knitter details, so you can put your owner's name, address, email, and number, emergency contact, doctor details. You know, if you're traveling and you want to have that information, I'm not sure if anybody would know to look in your stash book for that information, but there's a place for it there. And then this book is the same as every page throughout the book. For the rest of the book will be the same right up to the end. Now this book, after looking in it, to me it looks more like a project journal than a yarn stash inventory journal. But let me tell you what's in it. It says the project name. So to me that means you're working on a project. The yarn type, the yarn gauge, the dye lot, fiber type, material source, color, yardage, needle hook, skein type, purchase date, and then it says yarn project purpose for business, personal, gifting, therapeutic, or training. There's a space for project notes, image or sketch, color scheme, yarn sample, measurements, and then it says overall project rating, 1 to 5, happy with the results, yes or no. So this, I thought, was a yarn inventory book, but this is more of a project book. But look at all the information. I'm just going to get the one page up there so you can see it the best you can. Look at all that information for keeping track of your project. I really like that. I mean, so much information. The color scheme, if you want to play around with color, figure out what colors you want to put in your project. The yarn samples you can put in there as well, measurements. So again, the entire book is the same pages throughout. So I thought I was going to show you 3 different yarn inventory books. This is actually a project book. So that kind of threw me off, Yarn Stash Journal. But those are the 3 books that I wanted to show you today from Amazon. It is very frustrating sometimes when you get online and all you see is the front and back of the book and you can't tell what's inside. And like I said, most of us have certain needs of how we want to keep track of our inventory or our projects. Now, this book, I think they didn't show the inside because it's on the cover. So I was happy when I bought this book. I kind of knew exactly what I was getting because I seen it. But if you bought one of these other books and it wasn't what you wanted, it's very frustrating spending money and you're not going to know what's inside the book. So I hope this book has been helpful. Now I'll put links to everything that I showed you today in this video in the description box underneath the video. You can click those links. You can get more information about these books and you can check out the other yarn inventory and project books that they have on Amazon. It's spring, it's summer. I'm going through my phase of I need to get this place cleaned up and get organized and get more productive. And I think sometimes when you get so much stuff stacked up and piled up and works in progress, you just need to refocus, get reorganized, keep better track of your stuff, and hopefully this will help me as well as it might help you. So until next time, everyone, stay inspired and happy crocheting. Bye, everyone.